Are you stressed? Are you tense? Are you emotionally and physically worn out from your day-to-day activities? Wouldn't it be great if you knew someone you could go to and has magic hands and just release some of that tension? Well, luckily today we have someone here that can tell us about that. Hi, I'm Theresa from TechMag Social, and joining me today is Aileen from Aileen's Oasis. Welcome, Aileen, to TechMag Social.
Hi, Theresa. It's great to be here.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Now, can you tell us what Aileen's Oasis is? What is Aileen's Oasis, and how did you start this up?
Aileen's Oasis is a small business, energy healing business. I use my hands using various techniques I've learned, but I just put my hands on my clients, and their body does whatever healing they need to have done. I don't need to know the anatomy, I don't need to know their symptoms, I don't need to know diagnosis of their illness. I just put my hands on, and their body takes care of what it needs to do. Whether it's insomnia, depression, I've worked with people whose bodies were out of alignment, who'd had surgeries over years, where they had a lot of scar tissue and pain, and it just melts away. They went to a very deep place on the table, and they come out, many of them feel much, much younger. They feel taller, they feel absolutely great.
So when someone goes to you, so what happens if they lay on the table and you just take over? Is that the idea? Or do they tell you what their symptoms are, or does the body talk to you?
Well, basically, when they first come in, we have about 15 minutes of talking. They tell me what's going on, and so I get some of their history. Often it's important for me to know if they've been in an accident or have had many surgeries or whatever over the years. Then they lie on the table. I cover them up with a couple of blankets so they're nice and cozy and warm. And I usually start at their heads. Doesn't matter where the symptoms are, I generally start at their heads. And that will help to them to really relax, unless they have an issue and don't want me to touch their heads. And then I will listen to the body and just work through the body and start at their heads, go to their throat, their upper chest. Often work in the solar plexus if they have a lot of stuff going on in their shoulders. Just work down, and at the end I will often hold their toes and their heels and allow their body to just take it all. It sort of smooths it all out. And like I say, they get off the table, they feel younger, sometimes like 30, 40 years younger.
Oh,
they feel
good.
They feel taller.
That's not wrong with that.
They go home, they sleep like babies. Often people tell me it feels like if they're meditators, they feel that all the issues in their lives that were really bothering them previously, they feel that they're separated from it. They can observe it as opposed to being impacted by it.
Now, when they're on the table and you're doing your magic here, do they feel anything?
It depends on the person. Often they feel it. Often they can track through their body what's actually happening.
Okay.
Some people don't feel it, and some people just go into a very deep state. It's more than a sleep, it's like a deep altered state on the table, and so they really don't feel, because they're not interested in it. They're just in a very blissful place, and they're quite happy to be there.
Okay. Now you do different modalities, right? Can you explain a little bit of what else you do?
Well, the modality that I use mostly now and that I teach is quantum touch therapy, and I use that because it's actually the simplest to learn and to work with. It works with the breath, and I discovered that in 2001 after having, I was in a car accident when I was a child, and I had always had some back pain and issues with my left leg, and I found out my pelvis was basically torqued. When I found quantum touch, my pelvis just rolled back into its normal, proper alignment. But I've learned in the early 90s, I studied polarity therapy, which was about 2.5 years of so many hours a month learning this modality. I've studied craniosacral therapy, pranic healing. I've also studied aromatherapy relaxation massage. So I've done a lot of things, and I'm also a wellness coach.
Exactly. And then, like you say, you do teach these.
I teach quantum touch therapy because it is the absolute easiest to learn and simplest modality imaginable. It's a 2-day training. There's a training at the end of February. People can get the information
That's
on
right.
my website
Exactly.
or on the Quantum Touch
Yes.
website. And we work just with using our imaginations to run energy. So we imagine we're running the energy through our bodies with our imagination, and we link it with our breath. So the key here is to be able to take nice, full body breaths. And it's to think that using our breath and our imagination can create healthy bodies is quite stunning. But that is basically
So
the object of the exercise.
it's pretty easy then, is what you're
It's
saying. And
totally
anybody
easy.
can do it?
Anybody can do it. I had an 11-year-old boy in one class. I've taught women over 80 in my classes.
Oh, how
and
wonderful is
and
that?
people in high tech.
Yes, which they need. Yes, I'm sure they need.
But they were in the class. Like
Yeah,
I've taught people from all different walks of life.
Exactly. Now, is there an age range? Can young people go to you for the quantum touch or Reiki or?
Young people can. I tend to work more with older people. Well,
Right.
not middle-aged and older people, but young people can come. And young people tend to be more interested in more natural ways of being well.
Exactly.
They don't
yes,
want
which
to
is
end up
very-
on the cycle of pills.
the pills. Exactly.
They want
yes.
to find ways that work for them.
Okay, wonderful.
And it's wonderful for athletes because it improves their performance. So
Yes.
youngsters who have had an injury and want to improve their performance, that's a great way to
And
do
we
it.
can do it to ourselves, which is so. You don't
Absolutely do
have
it
to
to
go
ourselves.
out and see somebody. You can just sit there and do it.
You can sit there and run energy through your body and do your breathing, and
How easy is that? You can do it in your office even, you know.
you can do it on the bus. You can do it walking down the street. You can do it in the
Exactly.
restaurant.
Too simple. This is too simple. This is wonderful.
Do it anywhere.
Well, Aileen, thank you very much for coming in and sharing this with us. And to find out more about Aileen and all she does, and if you want to set up an appointment, you can visit her on her feature page at TechMag Social.
Thank you.